Well, it is 7 o'clock Eastern. I don't want to delay this, but if you guys pop in anytime, feel free if you have any questions throughout today's session, just to pop it in the chat, or I also have a time slotted after my presentation to do a Q&A for any questions that you guys have. So today's topic is on supplements for digestion. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen here. So before I get in, with all the supplements, I kind of want to give a personal story. I myself had a bit of a digestion problem about 3 years ago. I was diagnosed with adrenal fatigue. I'm not sure if anybody knows that, but I was diagnosed with adrenal fatigue. And at that moment, I was not digesting food properly. So that meant that because I was stressed, because my adrenals were depleted, I just was not getting that digestion properly. And the vitamins that I was supposed to have, like the vitamin B, I didn't have any of that. So I was actually at 0 vitamin B in any of them. So hence for my energy levels being lower. So when I went through this process and I went to a functional medicine doctor, I was given supplements. So this is what I'm going to be talking about today, is supplements on digestion. Now I know we're supposed to get, everything, most of what we can from food, right? From food, from lifestyle, but sometimes there definitely needs to have that supplementation to aid the process into a healthier digestion or the healthier gut. Now, I kind of want to go, before I get into all the supplements that I'm going to be getting into, there's 4 that I'm naming. There's many more, but just today for this session, it's going to be 4. Before I get into that, I want to go into the mechanics and the process of digestion. We take for granted how digestion really works. So I'm kind of going to read a little bit of notes, so my eyes are going to be down a little bit, but I just want to kind of go through the process of how it starts and how it just goes through your body. It is amazing. So when you begin chewing, so this is where it first starts. When you actually is before that. So when you smell the food, when you see the food, you're salivating, right? You're getting, your juices are salivating. So when you begin chewing, glands in your mouth and throat begin to secrete saliva. So the process could start with the sight, like I said, the sight of food, the smell of food, it gets that saliva going. This liquid aids into digestion and it moistens the mouth, reduces infections in the mouth and throat. And this helps protect your teeth and gums. It's amazing how all of this is just going and playing all together as a system as we are. So your upper digestive tract and your esophagus also contain a smaller cluster of salivary glands. Saliva contains special enzymes that help digest the starches in your food. So we have an enzyme called amylase, which breaks down starches of the complex carbohydrates into sugars, which then your body can more easily absorb. And then the saliva also contains an enzyme called lingual lipase. Now this breaks down the protein. This breaks down the fats. After you chew and swallow your food, it enters your esophagus. This tube connects your throat to your stomach. So then a series of muscular contractions known as peristalsis pushes your food downward and into your stomach. There, it mixes with more digestive enzymes to continue the breakdown process. So obviously, like I said, it starts with the smell, the taste, the chewing, the breaking down, the also the acid that I didn't mention, the acid that takes place. That is one thing that I didn't have when I was, going through the digestion issues. I didn't have enough acid to break down the food. So with that being said, now that you know the mechanics and the process of really what digestion is about, let's talk about supplementation. So the first one is actually number one supplement that is probably the best to take for good digestion, and those are digestive enzymes. Most digestive enzymes are made by the pancreas and break down protein, fats, and carbohydrates. When the pancreas does not make enough of these enzymes, the body cannot easily break down the food and absorb the nutrients. This is known as malabsorption. So then when malabsorption happens, it could lead to symptoms such as bloating, flatulence, abdominal cramps, diarrhea, all the things that we kind of go through that's unpleasant, that we don't want to happen. So this is when malabsorption happens. Digestive enzymes are important because they have the responsibility for breaking down 3 major dietary components of the foods we eat. Now, I kind of mentioned a little bit above, when I was talking about breaking down or the digestion process. So digestive enzymes actually brings those 3 components, like the amylase that breaks down those starches, that brings it back into play. Then you have the protease that breaks down proteins. And then you have the lipase, which I kind of mentioned in the process, which breaks down the fats. So digestive enzymes also helps with reducing inflammation, stimulates the immune system, and improves the function of liver health. Where can you purchase digestive enzymes? Well, you can purchase them anywhere, actually. Whole Foods, Amazon, Walmart, anywhere. I would just basically say, be careful and look out for if they've gone through a third-party inspection or testing, excuse me. Pharmaceutical grade is best, of course, but understand that you can't really get them if you don't go through a doctor, or they are on the more of expensive side. However, you do want to get a very good quality digestive enzyme, or you're just throwing money away. But with these supplements, the digestive enzymes and all the supplements that I'm going to be mentioning today, I would ask that you talk it over with either Margaret or some other practitioner, just so they understand what you are taking and also guide you onto the best path of which supplement to take for your digestion. Like I said, digestive enzymes are probably number 1 in my book. I take them religiously. Very, very helps. So that's number 1. Number 2, probiotics. It's down here. Probiotics are another another form of supplement that is widely known and widely used. You can actually get them in foods such as, like the fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi. You could also get them in yogurt. Now, I kind of caution on the yogurt because yogurt tends to have a lot of sugars. So you want to kind of look at that. If you can have coconuts, I know some of you can't have coconuts, but if you can have coconuts, coconut yogurt is actually best thing out there for you. However, today we're talking about supplementation and supplements. So along with the food, if you can't get enough of the probiotics in the food, you can also take it in oral form by supplementing. So there's 3 organisms or bacteria, a common microorganism. Actually, let me back up here. So what are probiotics? Probiotics are live microorganisms that are full of good bacteria and have health benefits, usually, like I said, found in yogurt and fermented foods. So the most common microorganism comes from bacteria known as lactobacillus and bifidobacterium. And then there's a third common organism or bacteria is also called Saccharomyces boulardii. So there's three. This helps when looking for a supplement. So you want to look on the label and you want to see these three bacteria that will, that's included in the supplement. If you don't see these three, put the bottle away and look for a bottle or a brand that has these three. So how probiotics work. It helps fight off the bad bacteria in your body. This helps you keep healthy. Probiotics are part of the gut microbiome, and like I said, maintains a healthy body. Helps digestion, which hence that's why it's in this bucket of supplements for digestion. And it helps support the cells of your gut lining. So this prevents the bad bacteria that may have consumed from entering the blood. So this is also known as leaky gut. I'm sure you guys are very well aware. This also breaks down, so the probiotics breaks down and absorbs vitamins and minerals. So who really benefits from probiotics? Well, those with inflammatory bowel disease or IBD, irritable bowel syndrome or IBS, anybody with yeast infections, urinary tract infections, gum disease, which I never even thought there was a correlation, but learn something new every day, and then eczema. Now, one thing that I want to end this section with probiotics with is that if you have been taking antibiotics, and obviously you're taking these and it kills off the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. So we want that good bacteria in your gut. So what happens, obviously when both, you just basically kill off both, is that again, you get that leaky gut. Well, by introducing probiotics, with supplementation, this actually restores the good bacteria in your gut, making it healthier. So you want to have probiotics after you have finished antibiotics to restore the good bacteria in your gut. So number 3. So number 3 is licorice root. So this is actually made into bronchial and gastrointestinal remedies, preparing for liver, bile, and urinary tract. So the licorice root is a common name, and I'm going to butcher this, so excuse me. I think it's Glycyrrhiza glabra. So again, excuse me for butchering it. This is a perennial shrub native to Eurasia. So this is a part of the country, I believe in, I'd have to look into it a little bit more, but this is an herb that can be found in oral supplements or tea. So it's more, you probably get it more readily available in tea, but you can get it in an oral supplement form. So the effective remedy against inflammation of mucous membranes and for relieving gastritis and ulcers. So that's what licorice root does. This root also contains antioxidant and anti-inflammatory agents. So when you're looking for licorice root, look for licorice root herbal products which specify the amount of, and I'm going to butcher it again, the glycyrrhizin in the product. This will help you stay accurate. There is a guideline, a dosage guideline that is given that will probably be more effective, more efficient in helping your digestion. And the dosage guideline is 200 to 800 milligrams of glycyrrhizin daily. And of course, it supports the gut lining. So this is number 3, licorice root. Not very common. I did have it in my supplement. I believe it was the digestive enzyme or one of my other supplements that I took. So it did help aid along with the digestive enzyme. The 4th and the last one that I'm going to be talking about is L-Glutamine. Now, L-Glutamine is really widely known in the fitness arena. So you take L-Glutamine for just basically your fitness goals. But it's also good for your gut and your digestion. It is a non-essential amino acid from protein that works best, of course, when eating a clean, healthy diet and avoiding the fried and processed foods. So L-Glutamine plays a key role in the process of healing leaky gut by helping to restore the gut lining and regenerate newer, healthier cells naturally. These new cells are the key in repairing the intestines and eliminating leaky gut. It is believed that some cases of IBS are caused by an L-Glutamine deficiency. So if you're deficient in L-Glutamine, this probably was an aid into your IBS symptoms. Now, what are the benefits? So it improves the gastrointestinal and immune health. It can help treat leaky gut and ulcers, like I mentioned, supports brain health, so not only the gut, but of course the brain along with it. It may improve IBS and diarrhea, and it supports metabolic and heart health. So the last question I have that's not on here is, how do you know if you're deficient? So what are the symptoms? Well, or I shouldn't say symptoms, it's more or less what would you see in your lifestyle that you could kind of pick out of maybe I'm a little bit deficient in L-Glutamine. Well, if you eat a low protein diet, because L-Glutamine really comes from the protein sources. If you're under a lot of stress, so I was there, so my L-Glutamine was very low. So obviously, along with all the digestion issues, it didn't really help with that. If you exercise very intensely, and this is another interesting thing, and I think it also ties in with the stress. So not only are you stressed emotionally, but you stress your body out physically by over-exercise. That decreases the L-Glutamine. If you're battling infections and illness, now of course, when you have poor digestion, it's basically you're more susceptible to illnesses and infections. If you are undergoing treatments such as radiotherapy or chemotherapy, so this zaps not only your cancer, but it also zaps the L-Glutamine in your body. If you have an immune disorder, and last, how do you know if you are deficient? If you have chronic gastrointestinal disorder. So there are 2 forms of, or I should say 2 types of supplementations for L-Glutamine. One you have to take with food and one you don't have to take with food. So the one you have to take with food, it's called free-form L-Glutamine. And like I said, should be taken with food. The one that you don't have to take with food is called trans-alanyl glutamine or alanyl L-Glutamine, which this is an amino acid that's attached to another amino acid. So this means that you can digest it better. So when you do that, you don't have to take it with food, so you can digest it on its own. Both, of course, are best taken right before or right after a workout. Now, like I said before, how do you know you're deficient in L-Glutamine? If you have worked out strenuously, so this is right before or right after a workout that's not so strenuous if you're not stressed. So those are the 4 supplements. Like I said, there are many more that are for digestion, but these are the 4 that are kind of more widely used and widely known, especially digestive enzymes and probiotics. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen And doesn't look like we have anybody on today, which is fine. But if you do have any questions, of course, let Margaret know. I'm back on the 22nd to answer any of those questions that you do have. And if you have any other issues, or if you need any assistance in, understanding the supplements, where to get them, how much you should take, all of that stuff. And basically, if you should, I am, again, a health coach and would love to kind of assist you on that journey. So if you want to reach out to me, I am going to go and put in and post my information, my email, so you can just reach out to me directly if you have any, I don't want to say just questions about just this, but just if you wanted to reach out to me on seeing if we want to work together. But if you have any other questions, just let me know or let Margaret know, and I will chat with you more on March 22nd. But until then.